There's a statistic that runs rampant as it relates to the research on children of incarcerated parents. And although the population is a hidden population and a silenced population, there are these negative stigmas and stereotypes that linger in the shadows of these children that we barely know anything about. That statistic looks at the child's greater likelihood of spending time in prison, following the footsteps of their parents. Today, we have an interviewee who is going to give us an intimate understanding of their experience and feedback on a specific quote that has negatively impacted the population of children, so much so that it's serving as a school to prison pipeline. It is now used as something that stigmatizes these children in their schools, even in their home environments, among friends and peers on playgrounds, and definitely in their dreams and in their minds and in their own bodies. And so it's very important that we engage in this dialogue with the experts. And today, our experts are those individuals that are directly impacted, the children of incarcerated parents themselves. Today, our interviewee is going to be speaking to the quote, and I start, "Children of incarcerated parents have a greater likelihood of going to prison than their peers," end quote. What are your thoughts on that?
It angers me. It angers me and it frustrates me because the reason being is because we believe it. One, everyone around us believes it. Two, and there is no other narrative to counteract the statement. And so with studies like this, they're not studying a general population. When you look at the prison population, who are they talking about? They're talking about Black and brown families. This has been a war for eons. This is the new Jim Crow. Miss Michelle said it best. And so I love the work that you all are doing because it's changing the narrative. And that's what our purpose is. We need to change the narrative of how they see us, when they see us. If we, it's a, you used words like a hidden population, a silenced population. And so the images and the you know what we're hearing and what you can find at every white round table that's making decisions is that quote. When it comes to dealing with incarcerated, that's the first thing they're gonna, well, you know, I read a study, and they love a good old study. I mean, research is great, but that's what drives the decision making. There was a study out. Doesn't matter that we only studied 40 people out of 2,000, or, you know what I mean? We didn't study everybody. We studied a small sample, and it turns out that most, you know, kids of incarcerated parents are more likely than their peers to become incarcerated. Well, I didn't become incarcerated. And my mother was locked up for a very long time, and so were people around me. But the people around me, parents were not locked up, and not all the people around me went to jail either. It doesn't have to be the truth. It's only true because of what they study. Now, if they change the game and they start studying the positive impacts, such as the work that you all are doing, I'm interested in seeing what you find. We could change that narrative. Mm-hmm. But in order to understand us, our culture, our world, our issues, we can't just study incarceration. Why are our peers more likely to be incarcerated? Where do they live? Is there redlining? Is there poverty? Why is there poverty? Are there food deserts? Is there lack of employment? What are the other underlying issues of racism that are evident? So if we're going to have a conversation such as that, and we're going to have quotes such as that to drive how we view and handle and understand a subgroup of people who we incarcerate, you got to do bigger work than that. That it's not our truth. It doesn't have to be our truth. It's not an easy truth to break out of, because there are so many barriers, such as the other things that I've identified. How can you go through underserved school and graduate and be successful, coming home to your poverty-stricken home that's been redlined, where no money is being funneled, and you can't eat properly? Now you got health disparities, and you don't have health. Like, how? It's a systemic way to further suppress our people. And when we understand this, now crime is crime. People should be held accountable, whether you're black, white, yellow, green, orange. I'm not denying that, but we take on everything that somebody else has to say about us because they've been saying it for so long. We're almost wired to believe it. We don't need somebody to say it. We'll tell you. But that's not the narrative, and we need to know that and begin to believe that and push that messaging out. And we need to stand up. Those who escape, or not escape, because that seems like I got away by some miraculous power. No, those that have succeeded or have come through, not escaping on trial and fire, but have come out and continue to come out. We have a onus to share the narrative just the same, because everything can't be done with Dr. Muhammad on a digital platform at some big conference, and everybody's not going to get that conference. But I got a neighbor across the street. I got a couple neighbors next door. My daughter's friend comes over. I know her parents. I know what works for me. I can identify if something is going a little haywire in somebody else's house, and I could do something. I could say something. And no, it's not getting in somebody's business, but it's about building. You ever look at Jewish communities?
Yeah.
There's no lack there. They take good care of their people. Everything they need is within their perimeters. They got their schools, their where they worship, where they buy their food, if we could just for a minute take a look, and we have the answers, but we got to change the narrative.
So true. Definitely so true. Thank you so much for all that you've done as it relates to being not only a participant in the study, but also participating in these short videos that we're hoping will get to individuals within sound bites. So nothing too long, but not too short, with substance in it. We definitely appreciate that and feel that this is going to be a platform for changing the narrative. So not just through writing, but also through narrative building and sharing. And of course, for the youngest among us who use technology very often, incorporating the use of technology and media. So we really thank you from the full research team for your participation. And we look forward to having you participate and attending the conference online.
Absolutely. And thank you and your team for taking the time to understand the significance of this great work. It will not go unseen, and it is going to change the world.
Thank you so much. Make sure that you have a wonderful day. And we look forward to being in contact with you for updates on the upcoming conference. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.